Hi everyone, Michelle Hart here. So I am going to do a review of Tarot of the She. And I had fully intended not to get any more tarot decks because, you go on these spending sprees and tarot decks are not particularly cheap. So, so I'm trying to okay, just rein it in a little bit, right? And then yesterday happened. So yesterday, my husband, we were getting ready for surgery, right? He needs surgery. We get to the hospital, find out that we can't do the surgery that we originally went in for because there was a giant infection and he needed to get all of that tissue taken out and cleaned out before we could do the surgery. So we ended up doing surgery for that, but we'll still eventually need to go do surgery for what he went in for originally. And then as we are heading out the door, my youngest son comes up to me and says, "Mom, I found the cat." We have two cats. Our older one had gone out last night and we could not find her to bring her in last night. And I'm like, oh, I guess she just wanted to stay outside. Every once in a great while, she kind of just wants to spend the night out. So it's fine, whatever. But she didn't come in the next morning either, and we couldn't find her. She's usually there at the door first thing in the morning. And so my son comes and says, "Hey, I found her, but she's cold." And I was like, oh, shoot. So I go down, and sure enough, our cat had gotten under the stairway and laid down and had passed away over the night. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was heart-wrenching. I had to leave my children in tears and me in tears to take my husband to the hospital so that he could get the surgery, only to not get the surgery and having to get this infection first. And it was just like so much going on. And it was just one thing after another after another. I just couldn't, I couldn't honestly even absorb all of that was going on. And by the end of the day, I was like, that's it. I need some retail therapy. So I went and got this deck, and I'm really glad I did, because this deck, it's a little bit, I feel like it handles a little bit the more difficult times in your life. It's good for the more difficult times in life, I should say. And so, yeah, unintentional, intentional, but I wasn't intending on buying anymore, and just was like, I needed something. So this, I got this, and I'm actually really glad that I did, because, and I'll show you, so the guidebook, which I haven't actually read all the way through, because part of the way in, she says, she suggests that you look at each card individually before you kind of read the interpretations that she gives, so that you can go off of your intuition and get to know the cards a little bit better on your own before going straight for oh my gosh, words are hard, sorry. The interpretations that they have. Thank you. Okay, we got there. So I am just going to go through this real quick right now. And I honestly love the energy coming off of this deck. It's a little, I actually really like this one. It looks like, at first glance, those oh my gosh, Asian, what is it? Those Thai headdresses, those really fancy gold headdresses that they use it for dance and that kind of thing, and I think for weddings. I don't remember all of the things they use it for, but just beautiful, ornate. And that's what that image reminds me of, the way the branches coming out of his head look like that. The High Priestess. So but what I was saying before was, my husband absolutely, I make him look at all of these cards. Whatever deck I get, I make him look at the cards. And I'm such a horrible wife, I know. I love this chariot, by the way. But he's looking at this, he's like, oh, I don't like the artwork. He's like, it looks kind of childish. And I'm like, okay, it's meant to be a little bit like abstract, you know? But I mean, I see what he means. But also, I can feel the energy coming off of these. And it's almost a sharp energy. I don't know how else to explain that. It's a little bit higher frequency than I'm used to. But it's kind of that mystical, edgy feel to it. And it was just perfect. It was what I needed at that time. Or at this time, really. So it's been a whole process to kind of get this deck, but I actually am glad that I got it in the end. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. My stomach is growling at me for some reason. So, yeah, I definitely like the way this deck feels. I like their interpretations. And here I am, I'm going ahead. So, the major arcana, for the most of them are the same. There's a couple of variations, I think. World, Judgment. I can't remember now. Maybe the major were the same, but it's the minors that they have. Instead of wands, it is warrior. So I actually kind of, it is a little bit different than the traditional Rider-Waite, but I actually really do like it. And overall, the changes I really vibe with. So I like it. I think it's good. And I also like they have like this beautiful way to depict the Ten of Wands, which is a burden card, right? It's called the Great Task. And there's this man who's having to hold on. He's the bridge between these two worlds. It's a very interesting way to interpret it, but it's I think it's a great portrayal of it, of that particular, a good energy. All of these cards, I think, have a good energy to their images. That is a intense warrior queen. That's like a sun god going on there. Dreamer. Okay, so this is, air is swords. So this is the suit of swords. And this one, oh, what an incredible depiction of the Three of Swords. Like, just, you feel that sorrow, that it says soul loss, and that's 100% accurate with that one. That one's an intense one too. A lot of these are almost like this one. I feel is like a little hard to bear with some of them. The imagery is a little rough. That one's also, but it depicts the idea behind each card so well that, like, it's a little bit rough on some of them, but you get the point so clearly that I imagine, I don't know for sure because I haven't worked with this deck yet, but I imagine it's going to be a fairly easy deck to read because of that. So we'll see how it goes, but so far I am very happy I got this deck. Okay, Dancer is water, which is cups. Oh, that's beautiful. Soulmates there. Dancer 3. So very, I would say slightly unusual depiction of things, but in a good way. I've been very happy so far. I mean, I've just looked through a few times at this point, and it's been, each time I flip through, I feel like there's something new I'm looking at. There's something new that I didn't see before. And I like decks that can do that. And I really appreciate that the author was like, hey, go over these cards and see what you get first before you even look at our interpretations. You interpret them for yourself. So it's very, and that's how I like to read anyway. I am more of an intuitive reader. I have tried, I have studied and studied. I've read books that are more complicated than I care to admit for me. But like nothing has really stuck. And anytime I kind of try to go off of the traditional or the original interpretations, or strictly the original interpretations, my readings are not as good. I don't know why, and I've tried, like I said, I did a lot of studying. I tried working out, why this is the way it is. I think I just kind of have to come to the acceptance of this is just the way I read. I have to read more intuitively. And this is really a beautiful deck for that. So a little bit, I will say a little bit sticky trying to put these back together here, just an FYI. But see, the deck is a little bit thicker, a little bit bigger, but it's not horrendous. My hands are a little bit wider than most female, but so I don't really struggle with it, but I know a lot of people who have taken this deck and modified it, just cut off the black edging and just had the pictures. So it makes it a lot smaller, a lot easier to handle. And actually that was my original intent when I got this. I'm like, this is a mass market deck. So if I screw it up, I could, it would cost a bit of money, but I could get another one. And then I picked it up and I'm like, I don't know. So far I kind of like having the little, the titles and the definition of the card on there. So we'll see. As time goes on, we'll see. But so far, I really do like it. And I'm very happy with it. So rough day, but a very good deck to deal with the difficulties that I'm going through right now. So it's been a good find for me. So hopefully that was helpful to you guys and you got something useful out of that, and you can kind of determine for yourself whether this is a deck that connects with you or not. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.